Good morning. Well, what's left of it? It is me, the professor, and welcome to another installment of From the Heart of a Woman. I know it's been a minute since I've had an opportunity to get with you guys and, share my thoughts. I know, y'all know that's why I'm here, just to share what be on my mind. Um, I would like to start out by thanking all of my viewers, all the people that make comments, all of my subscribers. I greatly appreciate you encouraging some of these rants and some of my ideas. I appreciate you for listening and allowing me to get my little bit of therapy in. But today, if you will, please, if you are new to the channel, please go like this video and hit the little button to subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified when I post my videos. Alright, so let's get to what's on my mind today. Like I said, it's been a minute since I posted. I think I was on one of my walks and I was telling you and reminding you how dope you are, because you are seriously that. You are a part of the apple of the Most High's eyes. You know, the apple of your eye is that color part. You know, people are enamored with the color of people's eyes. So much so that people are injecting dye or putting, I don't even know what that thing is. It's like a plate. I don't even know. But to change their eye color because they think it's so cool. My cousin, I remember this thing, I'll never forget it. We were sitting after worship, and she walked up to me and pulled my eye open. Why are your eyes brown? Why are your eyes lighter than mine? So people are, affected by that whole eye thing. But you are dope, and you are a part of the apple of the Most High's eye. And so I appreciate you. I was telling you how dope you are, because I'm learning more and more how dope I am. And honey, I've been busy. Working, some more, because I got so much more I got to do. I'm still on the editing process with my two book projects, franchisee, tax business, and still an educator, still a life coach. Got a vision board workshop in the planning stages for some time in the spring. I just got a lot I'm getting on with. But you know what? Some days we have to stop and take a break, take a moment. And so since I couldn't take a whole moment from my life, I said, well, I'm going to do videos as the Father inspires me to do it. And so today, this morning, I have been inspired. So, during my period of time, this was given to me as a Mother's Day gift, and it got dropped and chipped, but guess what? It's still valuable. It still holds my coffee. And so, you're joining me at the end of my Coffee and Psalms edition of From the Heart of a Woman. So, as I was sitting this morning and reading, the Father impressed upon me to go to 2 Kings. I don't know about you, but I have some issues on the floor, some issues before the Father. I heard a teaching where we should look at, we should look at prayer as going to court. Let me explain what I mean. Because Abba is a righteous judge. And we do come before him with our petitions. You do know that's a legal term. We come before him with petitions. Things we need, things we want, things we desire. Let's start with that need stuff first. We're praying to make sure that we're good. Life can go on. Health, family, protection, all of those things. Make sure we can pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? Our livelihood, our relationships, covering our children. We do that because that's something we feel we need to bring before the Father, right? Scripture says, with thanksgiving, make your requests be known unto Yah. So we do that, don't we? Yes, we do. Do we? Do we really? Should we? Yes, we should. Every day. And I'm not talking about them quick prayers. It's really, 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 really time to start crying out before the Father. And so that's one of the things the Father impressed upon me this morning. Because, see, sometimes people think, and I've heard it said, I don't really, not that they say they don't have time to pray, but they don't really think that their prayers are being heard. They don't think that prayer works. But I'm here to tell you. Here I'm acting like a teacher now. I'm here to tell you that prayer works. So he took me to 2 Kings this morning. And so I was reading in chapter 18, chapter 19, and chapter 20. And the trend that I saw, I'll start with chapter 18. Now, you know, this book is about Israel. And so Hezekiah was a king over Israel. And they were embattled people. What do I mean by that? They were always fighting an enemy. Don't that kind of make you think about you sometimes? I know it is the truth for me. So the enemy had made this threat against the king and the nation. And in verse excuse me, 28, I'll read it for you. It says, then Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, in Hebrew, and spake, saying, hear the word of the great king of Assyria. Thus said the king, let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, it says, saying, the Lord will surely deliver us, and this city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. He made some serious threats against the apple of the eye of the Most High. Serious threats. So what did Hezekiah do? When that message got back to Hezekiah, he rent his clothes, tore his shirt, and went into the Father's house and did what? Prayed. He cried out. He cried out. In verse 15, it chronicles his prayer. It says, and Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubims, thou art God, even thou alone. All of the kingdoms of the earth, thou hast made heaven and earth. Here you go. Bow down thine ear and hear. Open, O Lord, thine eyes and see. Hear the words of those that have threatened me, which have brought a reproach unto the living God. So Hezekiah prayed. Let me tell you what the Most High did. In verse 21 it says, this is the word that the Lord has spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee, and laughed thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee. Who hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted his voice and lifted up thine eyes on high? Even against the Holy One of Israel. Now, I'm saying this to say that when people are scoffing and laughing at you, when people are bringing railing accusations against you, when people are talking crazy, doing dumb stuff to you, when you are a follower, when you are obedient, when you belong to the Most High, they're not doing it to you. They're doing it against him. So I've heard and said, who you talking to? You making threats? Who you making threats against? In verse 32, Here is the verdict. Now the father said this, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with a shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And when it came to pass, that night the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 184,500. And when they rose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. He ain't playing. He is not playing with your enemy. He's not playing with your enemy. All we have to do is make sure we stay obedient and that we continue to cry out. And for people who think, well, I've been praying. We're not talking about them quick prayers that you do, the little blessing over your food and the little Lord Father, thank you for the day. Amen. It's time for us to cry out because Abba is ready to hear. He is ready to turn. He's ready to render verdict. I am convinced of that. in chapter 20, this is in the days when Hezekiah was given a death sentence. He was told that it was time for him to die. Die. You finna die. You finna die. He was told this through the prophet, by Abba, through the mouth of the prophet. You're gonna die. And so you need to get your house in order. You need to set yourself aright. What did Hezekiah do? He did what he did before. He turned his face to the wall and prayed and cried out, I beseech you, O Lord, remember how I walked before you. And I did what was right in your sight. And he cried tears. The scripture said he's wept sore. Very much. A lot. Ugly cry. When the last time you ugly cried and broke yourself before the Father? When's the last time that you let them tears fall in petition to the Father? Now, like I said, this word was sent by the prophet. He went to the king's house to tell him, thus said the Lord. Okay? Before he could get out the court, Hezekiah had turned his face to the wall and began crying before the Father. And before the prophet could leave, he said, now turn around. Go back and tell him that I've heard his praying. I have seen his tears. And behold, I will add unto his life. So he would add days, 15 years. Gave him not just his life back, just indefinite. No definite. You got 15. You know what? I heard you. I saw you. And I'm going to bless you. I'm going to give you 15 years. I'm going to give you some more grace. And then he did a miracle. Because he wanted to know, well, if what you're saying is true, what's the sign? Now, we're talking about in ancient times. They didn't have like clocks on the wall and digital clocks and cell phones. Y'all know this. I'm not. They used like sundial. And he said, well, the sign is that the shadow of the sun, he's going to take it back, not go forward. Because when the sun is high up in the sky at noon, at the middle, on those sundials, it's like right there. It's not very little shadow. But when it moves, you see the casting of the shadow. The sun does not go back. So he took the sun back. The Father took the sun back. The sun, the actual sun, back, I believe it's 10 degrees. Moved it back 10 degrees. So he could show you the king of all, the ruler of the universe, the one that created everything there is, there ever will be, there ever has been, that controls it all, took the son back to show his son, I meant what I said, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Now, have you ever been given a promise by the Father? Have you? But it seemed like it's long in coming. I know. I feel that. I feel you there. Because there are some things that I have brought before the Father, and brought before the Father, and brought before the Father, and brought before the Father. But I have to still believe that he heard me, and that he is going to defend me and take care of me. I got to believe it, because his word, here we go back to that legal term, his word is precedent. In legal arenas, if there has been a ruling once, it sets a precedent for that same ruling to be rendered again. So if he did stuff for Hezekiah, if he did stuff for David, if he did stuff, because I don't know about you, but I'm a believer. I don't know about you. I'm a believer. But if he did stuff for them and I do what they did, he has to do it for me. Has to. And so while I was going, I was getting excited about the word I was reading this morning, and he said, go to Hebrews. Don't go to Hebrews. Because I'm going to tell you about your Hebrew ancestor. His name is Abraham. And so in Hebrews chapter 6, it talks about faithful Abraham. Verse 13, it says, for when God made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself. What does that mean? People always talking about, you know what? Right now the kids say, on God, or on game. That means word is about on my mama. I hope my kids never swear on me. But kids say that because it's like don't take my word. If I'm wrong, they gonna get me. There was no great, because people swear by somebody greater than them in order to say my word is true. What I'm saying is true to you. He said, because there is no greater, I swear by myself, that surely blessing I will bless you, and multiplying I will multiply you. There we go again with that precedent. That's a precedent. It's set. All he did was be faithful. Abba said do, he did. Abba said go, he went. Now, we got to look at us. We got to get back to a place of obedience, a place of radical obedience. What does his word say, and are we doing it? Are we listening, hearing his voice through his word so that our feet can move? Are we crying out against our enemies, against those issues? Because sometimes the enemy is in me. Are we doing what we need to do so that he can do what he needs to do? He swears he wants to bless us, but we got to get in position. And so I know that was my check for me this morning during my coffee and Psalms, so that I can be a better servant. I can be a better daughter. I can be a better vessel of the Most High. And so I encourage you today to go back and look at those places that you've prayed and maybe that you've abandoned praying. Go back and look at those places where you've gotten heart sick about. Because the scripture says hope deferred maketh the heart sick. And start crying out about them again. And see if he keep his word. Me, I trust him. Because he's like, bring that back. Bring that back before me. Show me this again. Now show me your walk again. So, I just felt inspired this morning, and what he gives me, I want. What I want for my sisters, what I desire for myself. Like I said, this channel is mainly for women. It is my desire to bless my sisters, to lift them up, to build them up. And so as the Father builds me, I'm going to pass some of that on. All right? All right. Well, it is Friday. I'm getting ready to prepare my home. We having pulled turkey sandwiches, slaw, and I think baked beans. I don't know. We're going to have barbecue today for dinner. And I got that in the oven. It's smelling really, 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 really good. So I'm going to prepare the rest of my house, get some stuff done for classes next week, and prepare to enter into this Shabbat in a place of peace. And I wish you peace, love, joy, hair grease. All right? All right. All right. I'm going to get back my day. Enjoy the rest of yours. Love you guys. Be blessed.